Have you ever had one of those days? The kind where you feel completely wiped out? You didn't even do anything, but your mind is racing, your body feels heavy, you're exhausted for no reason at all. It's a feeling we all know, that creeping fatigue that seems to come out of nowhere. We think it's just a normal part of life, just something we have to deal with. But what if it's not? What if that feeling is a symptom of something bigger? What if it's a sign that our minds are tired? Think about how much we worry. We worry about our jobs. We worry about our kids. We worry about our bills. We worry about our future. We worry about things we can't even control. All that worrying is a lot of work. It's like running a marathon in your head. And even if you're just sitting on the couch, your mind is still running. Your mind is still burning energy. And that mental exhaustion is just as real as physical exhaustion. In fact, for a lot of people, mental exhaustion is the real culprit. It's what leads to burnout. It's what makes us feel old before our time. So what's the secret? The secret is to stop worrying about worrying. The secret is to go to the source. And a lot of times the source of our worry isn't just one big problem. It's a combination of two simple things: fatigue and boredom. When we're tired, our minds don't work right. We get emotional, we get anxious, we make small problems bigger than they need to be. It's like trying to drive a car on an empty tank. You know you're not going to get very far, but you keep trying anyway. And when we're bored, our minds start to wander. They look for something to do, and often they find something to worry about. It's a vicious cycle. We're bored, so we start to worry. We're worried, so we get tired. We're tired, so we get more worried. So how do we break the cycle? It's simple. We start by taking a break. Now this sounds too easy, right? We've heard it a million times, but we don't actually do it. We push through. We keep going. We feel like we have to, but the secret is to take a break before you feel tired. Not when you're already exhausted. This isn't some new idea. The military has known this for years. The US Army, for example, has a rule for long marches. For every hour of marching, they take a 10-minute break. Why? Because they know it's not about how long you can go. It's about how long you can sustain your energy. They know that a short rest is more effective than a long one. They know that a few minutes of rest at the right time will make you last longer. It's not about being tough, it's about being smart. Think about your own body. Your heart beats around 100,000 times a day. It works constantly, but it also takes a break. For every single beat, there is a micro rest, a brief pause. And all those little pauses add up to a lot of rest. In fact, your heart rests for about 15 hours a day. More than half the day. The most important muscle in your body knows the secret. It knows that rest is a weapon. It knows that rest is how you keep going. There's a famous story about Winston Churchill. He was the Prime Minister of the UK during a war. He had the weight of the world on his shoulders, but every single day he would take a short nap. Right in the middle of the afternoon, people thought he was crazy. How could he possibly rest during a war? But he knew a secret. He knew that he couldn't fight a war with a tired mind. He knew that a few minutes of rest would give him the energy he needed to think clearly, to make the best decisions. He didn't rest because he was lazy. He rested because he was smart. And John D. Rockefeller, one of the richest men in the history of the world, was a master of this too. He had an incredible work ethic, but he also knew the power of a short nap. He'd often take a quick snooze in the middle of a meeting. People would laugh. They'd think it was a sign of weakness, but he knew it was a sign of strength. He knew that a few minutes of rest would help him stay sharp, to stay focused, to stay ahead of the game. So how do you do it? How do you take a break in the middle of a busy day? It's simple. You can just close your eyes for a minute. You can get up and stretch. You can go for a short walk. It doesn't have to be a big production. It doesn't have to be a long vacation. It can be a simple, deliberate pause, a quick reset. A way of telling your mind, it's okay, you've got this. Just breathe. The next step is to deal with boredom. It's a huge cause of fatigue. Think about a time when you were doing something you loved. Maybe you were playing a game, or listening to music, or talking to a friend. You could do that for hours. You wouldn't even notice the time. But now think about a time when you were doing something you hated. Maybe it was a chore, or a boring meeting. Every minute felt like an hour. You were exhausted before you even started. That's the difference between physical and mental fatigue. Physical fatigue is about the body. Mental fatigue is about the mind. It's about emotion. It's about passion. It's about whether or not you're engaged. There's a story about a stenographer named Alice. She had a long, tiring day at work, typing all day. She was so exhausted she could barely stand up. She wanted nothing more than to just go home and go to bed. But then her boyfriend called. He asked her to a dance, and she said yes. She went out that night and danced until the sun came up. She wasn't tired anymore. Why? Because her mind was engaged, her emotions were alive, her body was moving to the music. She was no longer bored. So, what's the lesson here? The lesson is to make your work a little more fun, a little more interesting. Don't just show up and go through the motions. Look for ways to make it a game. Look for ways to make it a challenge. Maybe you can compete with yourself. Try to do something faster today than you did yesterday. Maybe you can listen to a podcast while you work. Maybe you can change up your routine. The key is to get your mind engaged, to find a way to make it less about a chore and more about a challenge. And what about the worries that you can't just fix with a nap or a dance? What about the big, scary problems? The ones that keep you up at night? The ones that seem impossible to solve? Those worries are real and they need to be dealt with. The secret here is to be an accountant, a worry accountant. You're going to use logic, not emotion. Here's a simple 4-step process. First, write it down. Just write down the problem you're worried about. Don't think about solutions. Don't think about emotions. Just write down the problem itself. Second, write down what you can do about it. Be honest with yourself. What are the possible solutions? What are the possible next steps? Write them all down. Third, make a decision. Pick one. Pick the one that makes the most sense, and then finally take action. Just do it. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Just do the thing you decided to do. This process might seem overly simple, but it's not. It's a way of telling your mind, okay, we're done worrying. We have a plan. Now let's move on. It's a way of turning that endless, exhausting cycle of worry into a simple, straightforward task. It's a way of taking back control. Because the truth is, you can't get rid of a problem by just worrying about it. You can only get rid of a problem by taking action. Your life is like a car. You can drive it into the ground, or you can take care of it. You can get regular oil changes. You can put premium fuel in it. You can keep it running for a long, long time. And the same goes for your mind. You have to take care of it. You have to give it a break. You have to keep it engaged. You have to deal with the problems when they come. And if you do, you'll find that you have more energy than you ever thought possible. You'll find that you can think more clearly. You'll find that you can live a life without so much worry.